Hey everyone, we are here in the backyard, which looks a lot different from when the last time I was out here. As you can see, we are in full-on summer mode with the pool in full effect and the new sand filter that I got. I'll just take a little time to walk you through the saga of the pool and the filter. So last year, this is the second year we've used this pool. I think it's a pretty good pool. We paid like $300 for it. I think it retails for maybe, I don't know, $400. It's a Bestway, which I think is owned by the company Coleman. Power steel pool. It has these steel legs and side pieces, and the frame is steel, and it's obviously a soft sided vinyl pool. But last year when I put it up, I did not quite get it level. And so actually this end, which is the west end, was a good 2.5 inches higher than the east end over there. And I was worried about it all summer. My thinking was that I had to extend the sand and level area out this way. And so this new area where I would put sand, I thought it would actually settle. Well, it didn't settle at all. And so what I ended up with was an uneven pool. But in any case, I got it leveled this year, so it's perfectly level. So there should be no problems there, although I still don't like the way this particular pool is designed. Because it's an oval, they had to engineer it such that on the sides, they have these things coming out like that at an angle. And as a result, the sides kind of sag out and lean in a little bit, so they're not actually level around it. You can see from there it kind of dips down a little bit, and you can probably see it a little bit better if I show you from back here. But yeah, that's basically the design of the pool. And then of course on the sides here in the center, it bulges out quite a bit more than it does on the edges, which is why they have to, have those. But in any case, I'm not a huge fan of that design, so our next pool will probably, if we still live in this house, be something a little bit different. But in any case, so the filter here, which I have running, I don't know if you can hear it running, but it's an Intex sand filter. I believe it's a 1,200 gallon per hour pumping capacity, which is actually probably the smallest sand filter you can get. I calculate that our pool is about maybe 3,000 gallons if I had it full, and I don't have it full, so it's probably closer to 2,600 gallons. The minimum capacity for this particular filter is 2,000 gallons, so we're just above the minimum capacity for this pool, so hopefully it'll do an effective job. As you can see though, the size of pipes on the filter are different than the size of pipe inlets on the pool. So I had to, buy adapters for all that stuff, which was easy enough to find on Amazon, at least when I bought them. I understand that pool equipment and pools in general are hard to find these days. But in any case, I got this all set up. It seems to be working good. They say these sand filters do a lot better job of cleaning the pools than the old ones with the sort of paper filters that you put in and out. So I'm looking forward to spending less time cleaning the pool. You can see here I also just I used bungee cords to keep those hoses so they don't put pressure on these guys and sag and pull them out, or so that reduces the risk of that anyway. Over here on this side, it's obviously a much stouter hose that came with the filter, and then the much smaller inlet. You can see I have the adapter here, but I can't take credit for the ingenuity here because I found it on YouTube, but basically just took a piece of PVC pipe and zip tied it to the side supports there, and then that prevents this from sagging, because otherwise this thing is heavy because it has a lot of water in it, and it would put a lot of pressure on that. And I think increase the chances of it failing or popping out. So that's basically what I did. So anyway, we've swam in it a couple times, really every day since it's been up and running. So it's serving its purpose in year 2, year 1 as far as the filter is concerned, and hopefully we'll get maybe at least another year out of it before we either upgrade or decide to do something different. Anyway, I'll just show you the garden real quick. The peas, we've picked some peas. They're not producing a whole lot of peas, and they are a lot of work to get the peas out of the pod, but they're really good. They're very sweet. At this point, I'm just kind of anxious to get all of them picked off of there and get this thing sort of torn out. I imagine it's going to start to look pretty nasty and rough and brown and chewed up in the next couple weeks. I'll probably leave it there for a while until that starts to happen. But with peas, which are legumes, most legumes have a property which is that they fix nitrogen. They're their own source of nitrogen. So they actually take nitrogen from the atmosphere and fix it into the soil through their roots. And so a good thing to do is to plant a legume as a cover crop. And you'll hear a lot of stories about how Native Americans grew beans at the base of their corn stalks and used the corn stalks as sort of a bean pole, and the beans, which are legumes, provided nitrogen for the corn, which is a plant that requires a lot of nitrogen to grow. So it was sort of a symbiotic relationship. But anyway, so I'm thinking about what I might like to plant in this bed after the peas have been there, insofar as these are the type of legume that are nitrogen fixing, which I think they should be. Cilantro is starting to actually flower a little bit. I suppose you could call it coriander right now, but there's still some in there we could probably pick here and there, but I'm basically just letting the rest of it flower out and go to seed for the aesthetic. White pumpkins are coming along. Cucumbers are starting to fill in nicely. Okra, still have a little bit of a pest problem with some of the okra, so I noticed it was tiny little green grasshoppers on there. So I spray them with neem oil every couple days, and that has actually helped. I've noticed a lot less chewing on them as a result. I'll probably hit them here in a minute, possibly. Green beans also filling in nicely. So are the tomatoes. Lots of fruit set on my tomato plants here. You can see, I'll show you back here, a lot of green tomatoes back in there. Look forward to those getting bigger, turning red, and someone besides me eating them. Everything else is looking good, the peppers and the other stuff here. But yeah, so that's how things are doing here this first week in June. Summer is in full effect. Pool season is here. I'm starting to have to water stuff more, which is a drag, but hey, that's just part of it. I'll see everyone later. Take it easy.